So we went grocery shopping today, and even though that prices are 7.5% higher than they were last year, last month I think we spent $250 on groceries, and that's for a month's worth of food. And we really try to find the cheapest meat. Well, this month we spent $132. We found hamburger. It was incredibly cheap. I don't know what the deal was, but they had it priced out at about $2.50 per pound, and they had it in packages of 2-pound packages. Then they put stickers on them, said $2 off. The hamburger ended up being about $1.50 a pound. We went over to the other section where they were selling those tubes of hamburger. You may have seen those, like 10-pound tubes. And that was like $3.50 a pound, $3.30, $3.50 a pound, somewhere around there. So I mean, we were saving $1.50 a pound on hamburger. So we got 10 packages of that. That's 20 pounds of hamburger. That'll fill a freezer basically. We can do about 30 days, like I said. Then we got a ham, and Carolyn cuts those hams up, little meal sizes, and that was $1.89 a pound. So it was a little bit more expensive than the hamburger. So between the ham and the hamburger, we'll be able to fill our freezer. Now, the reason we have it outside, because it's supposed to get down to 10 degrees tonight, I actually had to rearrange my schedule. We could go shopping and get this frozen outside tonight, because I was supposed to do a video for my other channel today. So I wanted to make sure that I had time. So $132 for food. I'm telling you, that is just fantastic. I went over to Orchland's. We got some chicken feed. I got 2 bags. I was running a little bit low, so I'll fill up the trash can. But right now I'm going to fill up the tank, because right now it's cold. It's 31 degrees outside. So I need to fill the tank before tonight. It's supposed to start snowing. We're supposed to get anywhere 2 to 4 inches here in the southern part of the state. I think in the northern part of the state, they're calling for a lot of snow. I think I told you yesterday the well got dirty, so I got that all flushed out. It's looking a lot cleaner. So now I can fill the tank up. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but of course it was dirty. Now, I'm not sure I mentioned this in yesterday's video. Somebody asked, why don't I just filter the water? It's because the filters clog up so fast when it's dirty. It's better if I can flush that out. That way the filters only take out the here and there particulates. It can't handle that much. And within, I don't know, maybe 150 gallons, if I don't flush that well out, it'll clog up those filters. The generator, Carolyn was joking, the generator's been running a lot better last few days since we got the new one, which is, you know, the generator decided, well, maybe I'll start acting better, behaving a little better, since they're getting ready to throw me away. It's doing a lot better. I ordered a gas filter. It's a strainer, actually, for the gas cap here. This one didn't come with it, neither did the other one. The old box ones I used to have, they were kind of a square, they came with gas strainers. Well, I put a filter in this one, but that filter's always caused me problems. What happens is it gets airlock in there in the hot sun, because the gas will boil off, and then so I'll have this air pocket in the filter. So I'm always sticking my mouth on this and I'm blowing into it, trying to get that air pocket out of the filter. Well, if I can get a strainer, I won't have to worry about having a gas filter in it anymore. I'll just take that off, actually. But I was glad to have it. When we bought this, we were heading to New Mexico, Utah, Arizona. When we got to Utah, it was very sandy there, so I was really glad to have that filter, because I mean, there was sand everywhere. So I'm gonna let that warm up a little bit. It probably doesn't need it, because like I said, it's been doing so much better. I don't know what made it do better. Of course, I guess it was warmer temperatures for the last 2 days. Maybe that's what it was. I know in warmer temperatures it does do better, but it wasn't that much warmer. So now just hook up the hose to the tank. Okay, as I've mentioned in previous videos, the reason we try to arrange our wintertime grocery shopping trips on the coldest days, like 10 degrees at night, is so we can freeze it outside. Now, you could do this at home also. It would save you a lot of money. Well, I don't know if it's a lot, but it would save you some money. Right now it's very cloudy. You can see it's very cloudy. If we put it in the freezer, we wouldn't have enough electricity to freeze it. And get us through the night. So I would have to run the generator probably most of the night. Well, all night. I wouldn't get up in the middle of the night to shut it off. So I'd have to turn the generator on and let the freezer run on the generator all night. Well, now it's getting very expensive because gas prices are so high. So when we can put the food outside to freeze, it's much better. We did that last time. The thing is last time we bought more food than what we needed. Probably another 5 or 6 days worth of food. We was gonna have an extended period of cold, so we put all the meat in a cooler. We got this 30-quart cooler, put all the meat in there, and we were able to eat it before it all thawed out. It saved us another trip to town, you know, early trip to town. I would imagine it's been a month and a half since the last time we went grocery shopping. So when I put the meat in the freezer after it was frozen, the fridge didn't kick on more than normal. If anything, it was probably more frozen out here than it would have been in the house. So that's a huge savings in electric. Now in the summertime, we don't have that kind of problem because in the summer, it's mostly sunny all the time. And the sun stays up longer. We also don't have the battery depletion like we do in the wintertime because it gets so cold, the batteries are drained by the cold. Here's what I do in the summertime. Before I go shopping, I get up at, I don't know, let's say I get up 5, and then by 7 o'clock, I turn the freezer all the way up. The refrigerator, that knob, turn it all the way up. It kicks on. Well, by that time, the sun's coming up. When we get home, the refrigerator's still running because it's trying to cool all that down. So the sun's all the way up, we're getting full charge on the batteries, and it's able to run the refrigerator. So I run that refrigerator all the way up so it doesn't kick off at all day long until about 7 o'clock at night. Well, then I shut it off at 7 o'clock at night. Then it kind of goes through its normal cycle because most of the meat is frozen by then because I ran it on high the whole time. Then I check it when I get up the next morning, and then I check the meat. If it's frozen, then I don't do any more. But if it's not, then I turn it all the way back up again about 7 in the morning, let it run all day, and at 7 at night, then I shut it off. But in the wintertime, when you try this, it takes days to get that meat to freeze. Sometimes I actually worry that the meat's gonna go bad before everything's completely frozen. It just really struggles in the wintertime because I can't turn it all the way up. So it's on, off, on, off, on, off the whole time. And then you hit a cloudy day and it's always a struggle. So the only thing I can do is just turn on the generator and do what I do in the summertime, which is turn it all the way up, let it freeze, run the generator all day. So that's 12 hours. And then hope it's frozen by the next day so I don't have to do it again. It's a lot of electricity that freezer uses to freeze that much food. That's why I'm such an advocate of canning. Instead of buying a freezer, we could consider buying a chest freezer when we first moved here and getting another 1,000 watts of solar to run it. It would have been such a struggle trying to keep that thing going all the time. Plus, running it in the house would have been difficult. I learned when we were living in a camper, I took the refrigerator outside. And I learned that the refrigerator doesn't kick on when the outside temperature's 40 degrees or less. Well, it might even be 40s. Let's say 50 degrees or less. It doesn't kick on. There's just something in the thermostat that doesn't allow it to kick on. So let's say you never get below freezing. Let's say it stays 35 degrees for a week. Well, all your meat in that freezer is going to start to thaw out. Unless it gets down to below freezing, you're never going to get the meat to freeze in the wintertime. Well, here in Missouri, it's quite likely that, well, I think from October to January this year, we never got below freezing. But we did get below 40 degrees a lot. So that means the temperature's got to come up to 50 degrees before that refrigerator kicks on. So when we learned that, that's when we decided that we weren't going to buy the freezer. And we decided that we were going to start canning our meat. We got 2 canners, we run them at the same time. We can put 10 pints of jar in each canner, so 20 pints times 2. We can do it 2 times in one day. So we get 40 pounds of food in one day. And we thought that's just a lot better solution for living off grid. Now storage, everybody talks about, well, storage, you got all that storage. I don't think it takes up that much storage. It takes up like 4 shelves. I've showed you that before in the house. The freezer to me would take up more space than the jars do. We can put jars under the bed, we can put them on the shelves, we can put them everywhere. Eventually, I'm gonna get the attic in in a position where I can put them in the attic where we don't have these huge fluctuations in temperature. Once I get that finished, I don't know if I'll ever get it finished, but once I get it finished, we can put a lot of food up there. Now we are still working on maybe getting an old worn out, not running chest freezer. I've dug a hole, we'll put it as a cellar. We can put our canned food outside also. I don't know, Carolyn's been kind of swaying away from that idea, so I'm kind of glad we didn't find a freezer yet. She doesn't seem like she's interested. The other day she said, well, maybe you should just fill that hole in. So I might just be filling it in. While we were at the store, they had those legs and thighs. You can get these bags of chicken, 10 pounds bag of chicken for 49 cents a pound. And that's where we got a lot of our chicken. Now we also butcher chicken over the winter, but we got a lot of that chicken from those 10-pound bags. Over the summer, that went up to 69 cents a pound. Well, now it's 49 cents a pound. So prices came down on that, which I was kind of surprised considering that Kentucky and Iowa and Missouri chicken farms are slaughtering their chickens because of the bird flu. If you can find that kind of chicken, again, either you have a freezer or you can it. But if you have a freezer, the problem with that is when you open it up, you got 10 pounds of food you got to deal with. When you can it into 1-pint jars, and now you got 10 pounds of food in 10 jars. Now you can eat 1 jar at a time, whereas if you put it in the freezer, you got to figure out how to eat 10 pounds of chicken almost instantly. Now, the downside to that chicken is it has a lot of bone in it. When we butchered our chickens, those were Cornish cross, and it had huge breast meat. Most of it was breast meat. So if you'll click onto this up next box, I'd really appreciate it. Take you over to my other channel. I hope I can inspire you to find savings wherever you can so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.